Did you know that every single movement in life has a starting point? That means how I'm centered or not centered before I move, or when I go to sit, stand, bend, whatever. That if I'm centered, it can make all the difference in the world in the way I look and I feel. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, centering. My name's Lisa Ann McCall, and I have a love and a fascination with posture. And today we're just going to talk about something real key to understanding all the McCall method movements, all the balance postures that I teach. All right, so here it is. The body has a center, which is designed to move around. The best thing to think about quickly to get this concept is to think of a tennis player, and they center for the ready position. You can think about a sprinter. They center before they go. Football, just basketball. Okay, a lot of people call that the ready stance. It's a little more complicated than that, and there's a lot more details to that. But if any of those people doing those sports aren't centered before they move, they will not get the movement they're looking for. So there's a setup to every movement. So I love the movements that nobody ever thinks about, and that's our just everyday walking around movements. Because when you gain this centering concept is in here, not here. When you feel it, then you'll go, oh my gosh, okay, I know how to turn. I know how to sit. I know how to walk better. Now this has to be developed. You have to feel it. But I'm going to give you a little piece of it today. First of all, your center is below your belly button a little ways. So it's right in line with this kind of triangle bone back here below your spine, your sacrum, and it's in there. It's in there, your center. So if my center is forward, then I'm going to have a posture that will hang out like this. If I bend over and stretch like this, then my center moved up high, and I am putting more stress here as I bend, which is not a big deal if you don't do it every day. But if I bend from my hips, I'm moving from my center. So I'm going to show you. I'm moving, I turn from my center. I'm going to stick my butt in the air so that I sit on my crotch, which is from my center. I come over here to the tripod chair. Now, the reason I like tripod chairs and small stools is you can feel this center world better. It's like, okay, I'm going to go down. I sit in my crotch, and what I feel is my pelvis is like a bowl. So that's a good one. So in the bowl, down in here, I'm sitting in the bowl, and that's where my center is. So then I know when I move, wow, this is where I move from. Now you have to practice it. It has to become sort of normal to you before this ever matters. But here's the catch. Let's take you out of this. Let's go back to what you probably know better is your posture, where you flex a lot at the waist. So you moved your center here, up high. Center is where you're moving from. So if I tuck my butt and I hold my stomach in, I've just moved the center of my body in relationship to the ground, the center, and I've moved it up, and I sit down, and this is my new center. Okay? So this becomes the world in which I move from, and I twist, move. And the problem with having your center in the wrong place, there's not a good orientation. You don't really know where to move from. You don't really have a sense of connection. And that sounds kind of a little abstract, but it's not. Because once you feel your center, things feel right. You feel the bones stack right. You go, okay, wow, this feels right. And your bones and your structure follow. When I first started doing this, it was very difficult for me to find and feel this center. So the best way to get it now that I've done it for so many years, is to really practice a couple of things like bending, sitting in something low like that for a while. So you're going, okay, I'm going to rest, I'm going to relax, and I can feel, and just do movements like this where your spine stays straight. And then you start to go, wow, there is really a sense down here of this is where my body moves from. So when I first started doing this, I kind of felt trapped, like, ooh, I have to always move this way? There was a sense of sort of feeling trapped. And then all of a sudden, gosh, it felt like the world just opened up and I felt like I had so much more room to move. When you're standing around, you're uncomfortable or you're moving around and you don't know what to do, that's because you don't know where your center is. And most of your movement is coming and orienting from here. You're thinking about what that person looks like. You're worried about your stomach sticking out. You feel like your butt's big. You're constantly mentally running how you're going to stand. And that's real frustrating. It's tiring and there's never rest. You can never rest. That's what bugged me. I never felt like I rested until I found my center. And then when I found my center, I felt like, oh my gosh, this all goes together. My neck is relaxing. My shoulders know where to be. My legs know where to be. My whole structure knew where to be in relationship to my pelvis. And that's why sports, if you watch sports, you see it all the time. There's this beautiful connection between your extremities, these are your extremities, and your torso. So finding your center is key to the McCall method. Now, on my website, I have something called the foundational videos. Those foundational videos really will help you feel and find your center. So that when you do other videos of mine, you're like, all right, I already did the foundation. I get that feel. I can feel where she's talking about. So I'm going to recommend those foundational videos if you're really curious to know where your center is so you can rest and feel good moment by moment, and no matter what you're doing. No matter what you're doing. Peace out.